Hello. Basically, I'm going to do a quick guide on how to create a HTML with CSS website um, for digital media. Now, what I'm about to show you is the basics and what was covered in the workshops, but I'm putting this guide as a little bit of a refresher for those interested. I'll also be submitting the zip file or packaged HTML document for which you can basically use as a reference slash cut and paste from, basically. So first up, we open Dreamweaver. Now, your version of Dreamweaver may look a little bit different to my version of Dreamweaver. Again, I'm making this on a Windows machine, but it'll look the same. Functions will apply to a Mac, so there is no difference between that. So what we're going to do is create a new HTML document. So we'll have this come up. If that doesn't work, we can go to File, New, File, and then select HTML5. We need to make sure the document type is 5. So we'll give it a title. The title we give it will be what appears at the top of the browser tab. This is, if you think of it like when you open up Internet Explorer or Chrome and you add a new page, you get a little tab and that's the title on the top of the page. That's what the title is essentially. So what we'll do is we'll call this my intro title. It doesn't really matter at this point. You can change this again in the code later on. So we'll click create, and here we go. It should open up a page not too dissimilar to this. I recommend we turn on split view. If we want to see a side-by-side comparison, we can split the view vertically. This may make it a bit easier for you if you want to see a side-by-side comparison as we go along. Right, so what you see here is within the code is the default code it will generate for you. You don't change any of this. This needs to stay in there in the same structure as we see there. What we see in the head is basically the controls for the body. So all your thinking and styling will be put up here. All your content will be put between these two parameters here. So first thing I recommend is we put some space in there. And we put some space after title. And we put in this little bit of basic code, which is some style. This is our CSS element, which will make the page look pretty later on. I won't worry too much about this. Now you've noticed, if I just open up a tag, which is like this is a tag, and this is also a tag. Once I need to also close it, and the content goes in between these tags. So if I go slash, it automatically completes any open tags that I've forgotten to do. Again, this will make more sense as you get into it further. Right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a header. Now the way headers are done in Dreamweaver is you have basically header sizes from H1 to H6 as preset sizes. This can be overwritten in style later, but again, I'll show you in a step-by-step manner on what the differences are. So I'm going to choose one of the animation titles, which is Dreamtime, and we also need to close that, so it's contained within the two tags. As you see on our view, our code, our live view, we'll see it appearing here. If we want to change it, we can actually click in here, and if we double click in here, we can type in here, then click out, and it will change it in here. I would probably recommend not doing that, but just so you know, it is possible to do that. So there we have H1. Now, for the purposes of showing you the differences between all the header sizes, I'm just going to create some dummy text. So we'll put a subtitle or a H2, which is slightly smaller, as you'll see. Oh. And if we use again, you probably won't need to do any of this when it gets to your actual work, this bit. So we'll do heading 3, change that to 3, 3, 4. So as you see, it's smaller and smaller as you go way up to H6. H6 is the smallest pre-built size within Dreamweaver, but again, we can overwrite any of this later on, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. You probably would be better not going any lower than H3, maybe H4 at push. So there we go, that's how our headings work basically. So there we go. Now you'll see what it does by default is it aligns everything to the left corner. So all the font is aligned to the font, to the side. And if we actually click on here, we can see a body, which it represents this here and this here. So everything, all of our content that we want on the page has to go between the body open and the body close tags. So if we just get rid of all that, because we don't need that. So that's how we do headers. You can put these at any point you want. So if I want another H2 in there, I'm pressing Alt instead of Control, but for you it'd be Command if you're using a Mac. If I want to use another H2, I can do. You see, I can have multiple H2s with different text in there, so I can. You don't need to, you don't need to do like anything. You can reuse these tags over and over, but I'm not going to for the time being. So what we'll do here now is we'll put a paragraph in, which is represented by the P value. So some text here. There we go. So here we go. As you see, it's put in some synopsis text here, which is what I've typed in there between the paragraph area. Now, this is the basics. This is how we all add our type element in. I'm going to basically split these videos up into sections, much like it was done in the workshop. So in our next section, we will look into how to introduce images and a little bit of CSS basic stuff regarding images, and then we'll move on to video and then general page formatting. So thank you very much for now, and hope to see you again in a second.